Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're swinging into action with a jam-packed episode of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We're going to break down the epic moments, jaw-dropping plot twists, and the emotional depth that make this episode one of the best. From Spider-Man facing off with some of his most dangerous foes to Peter Parker wrestling with the personal struggles that make him so relatable, this episode nails what it means to be a hero. Join us as we dig into the thrills, the heart, and all the little details that make this episode an absolute must-see for Spider-Man fans everywhere. In the first episode of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we're thrown into the chaotic life of a young Peter Parker, who is still figuring out how to balance high school, friendships, and his responsibilities as Spider-Man. The episode opens with Peter trying to juggle a normal teenager's day, attending classes, dealing with homework, and spending time with friends like MJ and Ned. But things quickly take a turn when he's called into action as Spider-Man. We see Peter, still somewhat inexperienced in his superhero role, trying to take down a petty thief, but his inexperience leads to some hilarious and awkward moments, which really emphasizes his youth and the learning curve he faces as a new hero. What's interesting is how the episode doesn't just focus on the action, but also explores Peter's internal conflict. He's not just dealing with villains, but with the weight of being a superhero and what that means for his personal life. He feels torn between wanting to be a normal kid and the responsibility that comes with being Spider-Man. The episode shows how every choice feels like it has huge consequences for him, a theme that captures the essence of being a high schooler, where everything feels magnified and dramatic. One of the most surprising elements in this episode is the introduction of Norman Osborn, a character who traditionally is one of Spider-Man's greatest enemies. In this version, however, he's reimagined as an unlikely mentor to Peter. Instead of being the villain we expect, Norman is shown as someone who helps Peter develop his identity as Spider-Man, guiding him through the ups and downs of becoming a hero. This dynamic is unexpected and sets the tone for a more complex relationship between the two characters, giving the show a unique twist. By the end of the episode, Peter has faced his first real test as Spider-Man, learning important lessons about responsibility and the personal sacrifices that come with being a hero. It's a perfect introduction to the series, setting up Peter's growth, both as a teenager and as Spider-Man, and leaving us excited to see how his journey will unfold. The mix of humor, heart, and action makes it clear that this series will dive deeper into the emotional struggles of being a young hero.
This wouldn't turn into a whole thing.
Oh, it's definitely a thing!
In episode 2 of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the stakes are raised as Peter Parker faces a new challenge that tests both his physical abilities and his ability to balance his superhero life with his personal life. The episode begins with Peter trying to keep up with his schoolwork and hang out with his friends, MJ and Ned. But his life as Spider-Man starts to interfere more heavily than ever. He's quickly pulled into a battle with one of his lesser-known villains, the Shocker, who's wreaking havoc in the city. At first, Peter underestimates the threat, assuming he can handle it quickly, but he soon learns that the Shocker's new tech is far more dangerous than he anticipated, putting the entire city at risk. As Spider-Man struggles to subdue the Shocker and stop his destructive plans, Peter's inner conflict intensifies. His sense of responsibility weighs heavily on him, and we get a deeper look at how being Spider-Man doesn't just come with physical battles, but emotional ones as well. Peter wants to be a good friend and student, but his obligations as Spider-Man are pulling him in all directions. This episode really delves into the loneliness and frustration of trying to juggle both worlds, his normal life and his superhero life. He misses important events with his friends, and we see how those relationships start to strain under the pressure of his secret identity. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn continues to serve as Peter's unlikely mentor. Despite being traditionally one of Spider-Man's greatest enemies, Norman's guidance helps Peter understand the importance of focusing his energy as a hero and not getting distracted by his emotions or the pressure of his double life. Norman's advice comes across as both practical and philosophical, adding a new layer to their complicated relationship. It's clear that Norman isn't just trying to help Peter succeed as Spider-Man, he's also shaping him to be a future leader, teaching him how to take control of his destiny. The episode ends on a cliffhanger when Peter finally takes down the Shocker, but discovers that the villain was working for a larger, more ominous force that could pose a greater threat down the road. This setup leaves us with more questions than answers, creating anticipation for what's to come in future episodes. Overall, Episode 2 is a perfect continuation of the series, showcasing Peter's growth as both a hero and a teenager. It highlights the struggle of trying to balance everything in his life while also hinting at bigger challenges ahead, making it a must-watch for Spider-Man fans who want to see a deeper, more personal side of the web-slinger. And that's a wrap on our breakdown of today's episode of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an update. Let us know your thoughts on the episode and what you're looking forward to next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.